really sorry, we're running slightly late for the next segment, which is a sharing session by our alumni. Let's not keep the ladies waiting too long.
Hello, Christina. Hi, Nidhi. Nice to see you again. For those who just joined us, Christina is the co-founder of one of our 2019 alumni in SmartPort Challenge from CLOT, and Nidhi is actually one of the alumni in the 2018 run, and she co-founded Portcast. So we're very happy to have you here again with us at one of our PS71's events. Today it's mainly the launch program for SmartPort Challenge 2020. And we will be talking a little bit more about your experiences being one of the finalists for SmartPort Challenge. And but before we begin, can we have a very short introduction about what you've been doing? We haven't really met up since, I don't know, January with COVID-19, but we are really eager to find out what you've been up to recently. So maybe we can start with Christina.
Yeah, well, we've been busy here in Singapore, even though COVID-19 hit us in, was it early March, I think? It's actually just opened up new opportunities for us, which has been really positive. So we've experienced new opportunities here.
Yeah, Christina actually just relocated from, was it Netherlands last year? No, Denmark. I'm so sorry. We have quite a number of our foreign startups who joined us in SmartPort Challenge last year. And Christina is one of those who came from Denmark and relocated to Singapore after the program. So Christina, can you tell us what CLOT does?
Yes, of course. We're almost 3 years old. And as you mentioned, we're here in Singapore. We've relocated the headquarters. The last couple of years, we've developed a shared platform for the maritime industries where we're bringing together the different stakeholders all the way from the seafarer to the training centers, maritime authorities, and also shipping companies, where they can easily assess and verify the documentation on the seafarers. So what we do is that we basically remove the need for middleman to physically check and verify the certificates and other documentation. And we do that by automating the process of verification, which is done manually today. And right now we're testing this with the BW here in Singapore as part of the MPA grant we got from the SmartPort Challenge.
Thank you. That sounds really interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about what you do later on. We can focus on that, but let us also introduce Nidhi, because I'm sure that we have our friends here who are also interested to know what Portcast is actually doing.
Thanks, Ning. Really happy to be here doing this virtually. This is the new world. So Portcast predicts how cargo moves across the world. We predict the volume and the arrival time of cargo from one port to the other. And we use machine learning and various external data, which quantifies the risk that's there in shipping. It could be risk due to adverse weather, port congestion, shipping companies making changes, economic patterns, etc. So we basically get all of this data and then predict and make supply chains more dynamic and resilient. And that's become especially important given what's happening with COVID-19. And this is why we've actually got a lot of inbound interest recently to help companies improve their supply chains and take more proactive actions. So I believe in the long run, this is going to be really positive for supply chain digitization.
That's great. It sounds like COVID-19 has actually presented more opportunities rather than challenges for the both of you.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing, Christina and Nidhi. And we both know that the PS71 Accelerate program is a very big part of our SmartPort Challenge. Maybe could both of you share a little bit about your experience during this Accelerate program? I think you took part in 2018 and 2019. What were some of the things that you valued and you learned through the program? Maybe can we have Christina to go first?
Yeah, sure. Our experience with the Accelerator program was overall very good. And as Ning mentioned before, we weren't actually located here in Singapore during the program. So it was very valuable for us that we were actually able to attend the masterclasses remotely. So it almost felt like we were there and we were able to participate in the discussions and the challenges as well during the classes.
Thanks. How about Nidhi?
Yeah, I think the PS71 program overall gave a really good platform to showcase our technology and connect with stakeholders and customers, potential customers across Singapore, but also even global customers. So there was a lot of discussions we had with companies not even in Singapore because of that. I think one of the things that was really valuable was how the demo day was organized, and giving that opportunity to a startup to present to at least 200 people, and I think it was then recorded and put online as well. So I think that allows young startups to really reach more companies and try and showcase their technology. So that I think was really the highlight of the program for me.
Yeah, and with COVID-19 has forced us to go even, I think it has really forced us to step out of our comfort zone. And now with this doing virtually, I dare say that we might have reached more than 300 people.
Right.
That's probably bigger than our demo day right now. And with it, I guess that's going bigger is the only way to go. I'm not sure if you're still in touch with your mentors though from the Accelerate days. I think Nidhi was paired with JC and Christina was paired with Chris. We want to know how helpful was it with this mentor startup pairing, but I would have to say that the experience for Nidhi is slightly different because back then it was a one-to-one match, and for Christina, we tried a different format where it was a shared tool mentor, so you literally had access to the entire pool, although Chris probably worked with you a little bit more, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was a very good experience having a dedicated mentor like Chris, and especially the part where his background is not maritime. It actually forced us out of our comfort zone, and it forced us to try and focus on rephrasing our unique selling points in order for customers outside the maritime to be able to actually understand the problem we're solving here. So that was a really good thing. But as you mentioned, we also had access to other mentors, which was really nice. So you also got a more nuanced input and feedback in general on your value propositions. So overall, very good mentor network.
For us, I really like the one-on-one sharing and sort of idea exploration that we had with JC in my case, because then it was very specific to our business needs. The startups that come to the program all are at very, very different stages of their development, and they may have different challenges. So that one-on-one sharing was very specific to what we needed at that point of time and how we could progress on those challenges. And then we also had follow-ups after the program ended. So that was really useful. And the masterclasses, I think, was run by multiple people, but facilitated by Ronnie. So I think that was also very good because, again, that was a sort of standard way how startups evolve and key questions that all startups face. So there was both the sort of sharing that we had.
Great. So yeah, I gathered that being part of the masterclasses, having the chance to have one-on-one mentorship, and even having the chance to pitch your idea to a large crowd, these are some of the benefits we have gained thus far. Could you share maybe whether there are any other opportunities that we help to open up through your participation in SmartBot Challenge, and what else could? Sorry.
I think she lost for a while, but it's okay. She's still online. Yeah. So I think she was asking, besides all these opportunities, is there anything else that, any bonuses that came along for you when you were joining us during the SmartBot Challenge?
Yeah. For us, it's been like getting another family or a new family. The whole Alumni Network has been a really good initiative. I love the fact that people are using it so actively. And you're a very good facilitator as well, Ning. You always post if there's something we need help with, or if there's anything you can help us with. For example, if anybody's looking for interns, this is also something you could help us with. We also recently got the opportunity to be featured in Asia's blockchain review, and this was also due to the Alumni Network and us being exposed on PS71's website. So I think in general, the extra attention we've gotten and the fact that you're always very good at sharing different news when we have something, anybody writes about us, like the piece you had about the female founders where Nidhi and I were featured, that again is also very valuable to us as a startup.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for acknowledging that. We're happy to help. I guess even though the program runs, SmartPro Challenge runs annually, but then the kind of support that we extend doesn't really end after pitch day, which is typically kind of like a demo day for our alumni. We really have all the intention to grow the Alumni Network, and it can only be successful if everyone pitches in to help one another. So that's really what we want to bring up. And what Christina was talking about is, well, by virtue of being part of NUS, so National University of Singapore, we have lots of student talent. So we are more than happy to match interns, or even if you're looking for specific talent, that's where you can shout out as well. But besides that, you brought up a really interesting point, right? So there is SmartPro Challenge, and that's where there's also a point where SmartPro Challenge ended. And for the both of you, you were recipients of the MPA's grant that is specific for a SmartPro Challenge finalist. So maybe can you share a little bit about your experience? What were you doing using that $50,000 Singapore dollars grant with? So maybe Nidhi can take this first, because you are at the end of your, if not, you're already wrapping up your project, right, with one of the corporates.
Yeah, so we actually got that grant from MPA, supported by a corporate, and the idea was to extend our product. And what we were focusing on is not just predicting how the cargo is moving and what's going to be the risk in terms of delay of the cargo, but starting to do more analytics related to carriers. So which carriers are likely to be more reliable for a particular trade lane, in terms of whether they're going to be on time and whether they're going to meet their transit time. And we use various historical data sets and do machine learning to predict which carriers are more reliable for any particular trade lane across the world. So this is something that the corporate that was involved was going to use, and currently they're testing that. So they actually shared data, they did extensive testing with us. And right now, we're basically creating collateral so that we can start discussing this with potential other customers as well. So I think, yeah, overall that grant was really helpful in getting the resources and the bandwidth to really extend the product and develop something which is going to be valuable for the industry. And just to talk about the previous question as well. So related to this, I want to also highlight the role that MPA had played beyond just the grant, because they really supported on bringing in more connections, and also in terms of promoting roles on the SMF. So they've been very supportive in the whole journey just beyond the grant.
Thank you. And I know Christina is one of the latest batches of startups that received this grant from MPA. So I know you haven't really started on your project, but maybe just give us a little bit of a sneak preview into what you guys are going to be doing with this $50,000 grant.
Yeah, well, our test bedding partner is BW Group here in Singapore, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, we're also involving MPA in this, because what we want to prove here is that we're able to share certificates and other documentation traveling from the origin of the issuing body to the seafarer, and then again to the shipping company and the port state controls officers actually being the ones doing the controls and checking up on authenticity and all this, but all in one shared platform. So we eliminate as much manual work as we possibly can in this, where we automate the processes from the beginning, where a training center or maritime authority press print or issue a certificate, and then all the way where it travels around the value chain and ends up at the seafarer and his employer. So yes, it's very early days, as you mentioned, but we're hoping to bring in more maritime authorities. We're working on opening the doors in Marina in the Philippines, and also DGF Shipping India, because as you might know, this is where the majority of the world's seafarers originate from. So if we could have a positive success case, so a good case from this, I mean, this would just open up the doors to the rest of the maritime community, we hope.
All right. Thank you very much, guys, for taking time to share with us on your journey, your experiences. We hope that this session has been useful for those who are listening in right now and you're contemplating whether or not you should join the SmartPort Challenge. I think everyone should be encouraged to take that leap, because you never know where this journey is going to bring you, right? It's been exciting for the both of you so far, and I can say the same for our alumni as well. So once again, thank you very much, Christina and Needy, for joining us this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah,
I hope to see you guys again at our next SmartPort Challenge, or rather the PS71 event soon. Not virtually, but in person, so that we can actually, clean our beer cups or whatever it is, beer mugs. Right.
We would love
Okay.
that.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.